Hello, beloveds. So glad you are here to join me today for this next transmission that is coming through. I am outside. You can hear nature, the wind, the birds, possibly some dogs barking. I've been sitting with, receiving this very powerful, deep transmission, and I've had to work through some of my own personal struggles around allowing this next level of truth to come through. It's quite intense, and it's important. It needs to get out, and people need to hear this. So I ask that if you are listening to this next Crown of Light transmission, this declaration of sovereignty message, that you please send it to as many people as you can. Share it all around the world through your own social media platforms, through emails, through whatever way you are guided. Please share this transmission. It is for the world. It is for everyone. You don't have to be someone who is awakened or who is part of any particular spiritual or metaphysical belief system. This transmission is for everyone, for all of humanity. And it is important that we as a collective, that each of us individually, declare our sovereignty. And I love the fact that there are birds in the background, that there's nature in the background, that Mother Earth is sharing her voice as part of this transmission, because all of creation right now is wanting to announce its sovereignty. And so we're going to dive into this transmission to understand what is sovereignty, its true definition, from this higher perspective of light, from this higher spiritual consciousness perspective. What is sovereignty? And many people maybe think, well, when I think of sovereignty, I think of a king or a queen or an energy that's over someone else. And that is absolutely not the definition of divine sovereignty. Divine sovereignty is a birthright. You were born divinely sovereign. And I want you to breathe that in. You are a divine, eternal, sovereign being of light. That means that no power is over you and no power is below you. That means that as a sovereign being, you do not have power over anything, and nothing has power over you, and neither are you under any power, or can you put someone under your power. A sovereign being is just that, sovereign. In and of yourself, you are not above anyone or anything, and you're not below anyone or anything. We are all sovereign beings. We're all one unified whole. We are sovereign oneness, and we've been given that divine station by Source Creator. And unfortunately, in our 3D world at this time, our sovereignty has been under attack for literally the entire Piscean age. For thousands of years, we've been working through a huge karma. Huge karma. The Piscean age was a very painful age, an age of much suffering and challenges. We're moving into Aquarian age, where that suffering, that karma, those challenges are now optional. The minute we claim our sovereignty and we make the very clear, conscious, spiritual decision from a place of deep awareness, spiritual awareness, that we are divine spiritual beings. It is our divine eternal birthright. It is our divine eternal birthright And when we came to this earth plane, this three-dimensional physical field of this planet, unfortunately there are miscreant energies, souls who've gotten lost and who have thought that they can abuse and take away our sovereignty, which is impossible because it's divinely given to us. But unfortunately, because we have been asleep and unaware, we have implicitly, complicitly agreed, aligned with having our sovereignty, our freedoms taken away from us. We have knowingly and unknowingly given our power away to systems on this three-dimensional realm that have abused our power and our sovereignty in many ways. And it doesn't matter all of the different ways. There are thousands of ways our sovereignty has been taken. But again, it's because in some way we were not aware, and so by not being aware, we gave permission. So the declaration of sovereignty today, the invitation for you to declare your sovereignty today, is what brings you back into divine alignment with the truth of your being, so that you no longer either consciously, unconsciously, subconsciously, implicitly, complicitly agree with particular lower frequency vibrations, energies, lost souls who have been abusing the power of the collective for so long. And so it's very simple. When you declare your sovereignty, you must do it publicly, out loud. You make a statement on Facebook. You make a statement on Instagram. You make a statement on, pick the social media platform that you want. You can pick all of them. Doesn't matter. You can out loud in your home or in your backyard or in your front yard, wherever. You just out loud publicly announce, I am sovereign. I declare my sovereignty. I am a sovereign divine being by birthright. I declare my sovereignty. I no longer give permission for anyone or anything to have power over me. I no longer allow permission for any programming from any and all dimensional places, spaces, to in any way influence my sovereignty. I declare my sovereignty. I am sovereign. I do not give permission for any aspect of my being to be controlled or programmed any longer, both directly or subtly, by any system or person, place or thing from all times, dimensions, places, spaces. So by declaring this level of sovereignty, by saying no more, I do not give permission in any way that my sovereignty be used against me, that my sovereignty be used to harm the planet or others. I no longer complicitly or implicitly agree to any systems that in any way are using my sovereign divine energy. And by doing that, you literally automatically begin to raise your frequency so that these lower frequency energies that you're swimming in, because we all are, we're swimming in these lower frequency energies that come from specifically created technology that unfortunately isn't at a vibration that's really good for our physical health or our mental health, and actually in some ways blocks aspects of our higher spiritual consciousness and energy. As we claim our sovereignty, we raise our vibration, our consciousness, we raise it to a level that transcends beyond those controlling energies, so that we can actually live in this beautiful, amazing world free, sovereign. And that means making conscious decisions not to support systems that take away our freedoms, that in some way disrespect our sovereignty. And it's really unfortunate that we have, in many ways, agreed to these systems because we just weren't in awareness. We were ignorant. We were asleep. So we have to forgive ourselves, and we have to forgive these systems. So it's not for you to go out there and move into rebellion and create more problems. It's for you to forgive yourself and then begin to find a place in your heart to forgive these lost souls and these systems that out of fear created something that truly has been harming humanity for a very long time and our earth. And so we must begin to really find a place in our heart to forgive. Because it's through the forgiveness, through the awareness that somehow we complied and agreed. Because we were part of this. We have to understand that we were part of agreeing to these systems. That our generations that came before us were a part of agreeing to these systems and giving away our power out of ignorance and not knowing and just being, unconscious and asleep. So we have to forgive ourselves. We have to forgive our generations that came before us. We have to forgive our ancestors who played their part in all of this. And we have to begin the process of forgiving those systems now, those people, organizations now who are abusing the sovereignty of the collective. And I like to call on the very simple practice of Ho'oponopono. It's a Hawaiian word, and you can look it up. There's tons written about it. But there are 4 statements that are part of this very powerful prayer. That it's basically a cleaning instrument. It cleans, it clears energy that is not in alignment with love. So, coming into a really clear place, you say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. Or you can say it in a different order. It doesn't matter what order you say the 4 statements. You can say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. You can say, forgive me, I'm sorry, I love you, thank you. Any way that you feel guided. But when you say these 4 statements, what you are saying is that what you see in the world, you in some way were a part of creating. It's some part of you is taking responsibility. And as you take responsibility, you basically say sorry. Sorry to your higher self, to Creator, to all that that you have possibly harmed directly, indirectly, consciously, subconsciously. And by doing that, you clear these patterns within yourself that then begin to clear these patterns in the greater collective. So what I do is I think about all of these misguided systems and souls who are miscreating with divine energy and abusing the sovereignty of the collective. And I see aspects of myself and I forgive. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't see these things. I'm sorry I complied. Please forgive me. Divine source, consciousness. And the truth is, divine source doesn't blame us. So I'm not trying to say that. But it really is about saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, to some aspect of our higher self that just didn't see it, that was asleep and complied and was complicit. And as we do that, it opens our heart to bring love in. Bring love in through our hearts. Bring love into the world. Bring love to those systems and lost souls who have been misusing the energies of spirit and abusing them and harming. Because in truth, it reminds us that we are from love, we come from love, we are the vibration of love. And from that powerful, sacred vibration of love, we transmute. We literally change energy from a lower vibration to a higher vibration. It's called alchemy. And as a sacred alchemist, this is what I do through these transmissions. I take lower energy and we transmute it into a higher frequency energy. So we go from a I'm sorry, please forgive me, shame, embarrassment, guilt, to I love you, to love, which then brings us freedom and joy and peace. So it moves things from a lower vibration to a higher vibration. So we're basically transmuting the lower vibrations within ourselves and how we're connected to the collective and how in some ways we've said yes and complied with these unfortunate situations and energies in the world. And we transmute it. And we say no more. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I love you. Thank you. And you just repeat it over and over. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I did not know. I was asleep. I wasn't aware. I complied with things that I realize now harmed my own sovereignty and the sovereignty of others in this earth. Please forgive me. I love you. I'm sorry. So it's that lower human aspect of you that was asleep, basically saying I'm sorry to the higher aspect of you, the light, the being that you are, the sovereign part of you that always knew you were sovereign, that never forgot you were sovereign. So it's about the lower aspects of our human nature asking for forgiveness from the higher aspects of our divine self so that we can come into oneness with ourselves and oneness with the world. And when we emanate this higher vibration of love, it cancels out these lower frequencies that harm and that hurt humans and the earth. So it's like a cancellation out process. But it really requires some deep, authentic spiritual work on your part to really look at how you have, in some ways, complied and said yes to systems that take away your freedoms, that don't honor the sovereignty of all peoples, everyone on the earth. And it's about really looking at how you will choose to live differently, how you will choose to create a life that is more conscious, that honors the sovereignty of everyone, starting with your own sovereignty and the sovereignty of the people in your family, your friends, your co-workers, your neighbors, your community, the city you live in, the state you live in, the country you live in, and then the world. So it requires a process, steps, to get to the place where you can truly live as a sovereign being and you no longer give permission to have your sovereignty taken from you in any way. But that means systems have to change. That means any system you belong to that is abusing sovereignty, that you be willing to say, no, I can't comply with this anymore. Things have to change. And if you are a change maker and a big decision maker, you can make big change in those systems by saying no more. We have to restructure this in a way that all are treated sovereignly and that we treat the earth sovereignly and all its creatures. And the mineral kingdom and the plant kingdom, all is sovereign on this earth. Even the tiniest amoeba and insect, all is sovereign because it was created by a sovereign being. We're all created in the likeness and image of the divine source, which is sovereign. So within us is the seed of sovereignty, and we must honor it in all people. This is a very important part of the Age of Aquarius, so that we can live a really, truly cooperative, collaborative, unified life with others. And in that space, we are more abundant. In that space, we are more peaceful. In that space, there is love. So it's truly about building a beautiful new earth where sovereignty is always respected on all levels of life, which includes all systems, which includes economies and governments all around the world. So Divine Spirit is asking for a huge shift to happen on this earth, for us to really live this more divine, authentic truth that we are. But it requires that first step of you declaring your own sovereignty and beginning to open your spiritual eyes to see how you have complied with and agreed to systems that do not serve, because they impinge on the sovereignty of all beings on the planet. This is, in many ways, a very intense transmission, even though it seems like a simple message, which it is. But the transmission of frequencies and energies in this message are huge. So I ask that you continue to listen to this transmission, fall asleep to it, wake up to it, meditate on it, contemplate the deeper message underneath what is being said here, and be willing to start making the changes that need to be made personally in your life, so that as each soul makes those sovereign changes in their life, it begins to create this amazing ripple effect around the world where we all claim our sovereignty. And we start creating new structures in the world that honor the sovereignty of all beings, that honors the fact that no one needs to be above us and no one needs to be below us. All of us are powerful, sovereign beings of oneness and unity and collaboration and light. We can all work together, bringing our different gifts. No person's gifts or talents are better than anyone else's, are less than anyone else's. This is why the hierarchical systems that were prevalent in the Piscean age are now crumbling. And in your lifetime, and in the lifetime of your children and your grandchildren and great-grandchildren, great hierarchical systems will fall. It is a given. They will fall. So, what is being asked of those who are awakening at this time is, if you are part of a hierarchical system, it is time to pivot quickly and create a system that is not hierarchical. A system that honors the sovereignty of all. And there are new, beautiful models out there in the world that are being presented by amazing people who have received these downloads over many years. And there are new, beautiful systems that can be put in place that are actually more simple and honor the sovereignty of all. So, be willing to open your hearts and open your minds and let them expand into the possibilities of, what does sovereignty on this earth look like? What does sovereignty in my life look like? Wow! And just sit with that. Contemplate it. Dive into it. Invite and invoke this powerful frequency called sovereignty. It's already in you. It's coded in your DNA. This transmission is just awakening it so that you can begin to vibrate with this frequency of sovereignty, so that these lower frequencies on this 3D plane that we are in right now don't affect you, so that you can really live your life to the fullest as a sovereign divine being, a truly free life. Not a life that's based on limited freedom because of the systems that have been set up that are hierarchical. There's no true freedom in that. Any hierarchical system does not contain freedom. Sorry, you've been sold a bill of goods. We all have. It's a lie. The systems that honor the sovereignty of all, those are the systems that hold the highest levels of divine freedom. They feel different. They're more peaceful. They don't create illness in the body. They don't create illness in the mind. Mental illness goes away. Physical illness goes away. Because when we are in these higher vibrational systems that honor our sovereignty, we don't need to get sick. We don't need to be mentally ill. The systems that are in place right now are creating these problems that you're seeing in the world, these challenges that we're seeing in the world right now. So it is up to each of us to make the decision to declare and claim our sovereignty, to say no more to the systems that have attempted and have in many ways controlled our systems all around the earth as a collective, and instead move forward from this higher place of awareness and consciousness of saying, how can I live a life that is sovereign? How can I make decisions in my life that are sovereign? Where am I giving my power over to systems outside of myself, to people? Where can I claim back my power? And not to be used so that you can then have power over others, of course, but so that you can then use your own powerful energy to create new and conscious systems in the world, whether it's a new business, whether it's promoting a new product that is highly conscious, whether it is taking down an old business that you created and creating a new one that is more conscious and honors the sovereignty of everyone who works for you. There are so many ways, infinite, beautiful number of ways, that we can create a more sovereign world. But we first have to wake up to the fact that our sovereignty has been hijacked. Not so that we can go to war with those who have hijacked it, because that doesn't solve anything. It just keeps you stuck in that same energy. But instead, you transcend beyond it. You realize what it is. You claim your sovereignty, ask for forgiveness, send forgiveness and love to those who have hijacked that sovereignty, and then move forward with clear, conscious, sovereign intention. It is a powerful and peaceful way to move forward. These lower vibrations in no way can control anyone who has claimed their sovereignty. Sovereignty trumps it all. It is a powerful vibration. And once you've claimed it, it can't be touched unless you give in and give over and collapse in your power again. So we may have to claim our sovereignty many times. I know that when I have to go out in public right now, I'm having to claim my sovereignty silently at every step as I see people around me giving away their power at the drop of a hat. And it saddens me deeply, because we are incredible, divine, powerful beings, and we're just giving over our power in every moment to systems that unfortunately don't have our best interests in mind. We need to create new systems that have our best interests in mind, that really honor us. And the only way to do that is we have to create them. We can't just sit around and go, okay, someone else will do it. No, we have to do it in whatever way we are inspired. This is why you need to sit with this message, contemplate this concept of divine sovereignty, and really begin to ask the universe those questions. Universe, okay, I declare I'm sovereign. What does that mean for me? Divine Source, what do you want to do with my sovereign self? What is it that I am being called to do now to assist our world to awaken to its sovereignty? How can I help? How can I serve? How can I assist? And you assist in whatever way in that moment you are guided. And it could be something very simple. For me, it's grabbing my recorder and recording this message and getting the message out. And then helping those who are drawn to work with me to begin restructuring their lives and their businesses in a way that is sovereign, so that they serve from that place, so that they hold that higher consciousness, so that it affects those around them, their families. And it's not to convince anyone. So this isn't about convincing you. This is about hearing the call and responding to it. Hearing the call and responding to it. And some people aren't ready yet. Some people aren't ready for this. They may hear this message and go, "What?" Because they're not ready. And that's okay. But it's planting a seed. We need to plant the sovereignty seeds so that they can begin growing in people's souls and spirits. It's already happening all around the planet at this time. We just have to be willing to keep planting the seeds of sovereignty and reminding everyone to wake up to the truth. You are sovereign. It is your birthright. To give your power over to anyone or anything? No. No. That is not you honoring the truth of your being. I send you so many blessings of love and light to every single beautiful soul who hears this transmission and receives it deeply. Again, this is given to you from a place of love. There is no need to be convinced of anything. If this message resonates for you, great. If in this moment it doesn't, that's okay too. Just know that it is a message that has encoded in it the remembrance that you are love, that you are light, that you are eternal, that you are blessed, and above all, that you are sovereign. I bow to you, beautiful sovereign souls. Many blessings, lots of love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done.